All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Chakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. Peace and salutations to the Akim and to the elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of this earth, pushing this truth and faith and sincerity. I'm Brother Shema Allah from the GMS Houston camp. And this lesson, I'm going to be going into a particular topic, from watching the elder, Manatazak Ba, out in South Carolina. There was a certain TikToker, right, that basically questioned the creation story and how that, in the validity of it, right, on how accurate it is. Basically this person, was like, how can a person write a creation story, right, if you wasn't there? And then they went on to say that, information that's usually passed down, all right, usually it changes. So how do we know that it's accurate, and all of that? She's saying that she's been duped and she's been lied to, so obviously this person doesn't believe anything about the Bible, right? But it's just crazy to say that because, there are a lot of things that we wasn't here to witness, right? As far as like history or things that were written in books, right? You got certain artifacts and, statues and its history behind it and all of that, right? We weren't born, right, to witness and to see all of those things, right? But those things were documented and written down, right? And, and they believe it, right? Just because you wasn't there, right, doesn't mean it's not accurate. All right, these are the same people that go studying Esau schools and books and all of this, right, and studying this and studying this history and that, right, and you weren't there to witness that, all right, but you take it as truth. But every time it comes to the Most High, right, every time it comes to the scriptures, now there's a problem. How do we know that's true? How do we know the creation story is right? How do we know that's facts? All right, so this is just going to be a quick lesson, nothing drawn out, right? But this is 2nd Esdras 14:1. And it came to pass upon the third day, I sat under an oak, and behold, there came a voice out of a bush over against me, and said, Esdras, Esdras. And I said, Here am I, Lord. And I stood up upon my feet. Then said he unto me in the bush, I did manifestly reveal myself unto Moses, and talk with him, when my people served in Egypt. And I sent him and led my people out of Egypt, and brought him up to the mount of where I held him by me a long season, and told him many wondrous things, and showed him the secrets. That's a key word, secrets, right, of the times and the end, and commanded him, saying, These words shall thou declare, and these words shall thou hide. All right. So, Moses, when you read, in the book of Exodus, right, Moses was called up to go into the chariot, right, on the mount, okay, which was a UFO, right, so-called UFO, they call it today. And he received the law, statutes, commandments. All right, but he didn't just receive that alone. He received a lot of things, and he was showed, many things. All right. And he went up there. He actually went up there twice. All right. 40 days and 40 nights, right? Each time. And the Lord revealed, certain things unto him, like I said, the secrets of the times. When you read the first five books, right, which is called the Torah, right? Or Torah in the Hebrew, those were written by Moses, right? From Genesis, unto, Deuteronomy. All right. And the Lord gave him all of those things, right? To show him the things that are before him, the creation, how things was created, who created, right? All the way down, to Adam, what happened during that time, what happened the fall, of the sons of God, all right, with Noah, okay, with the flood, okay, to Abraham, and things that happened with him, the Lord was dealing with him and showed him these things, okay, and that's how we know that it happened, okay. When you go to Numbers 12, right, and 7, I started 6, and he said, "Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, Yahweh, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream." So this is the Most High basically telling you the typical way, the normal way of how he would, reveal certain things unto his prophets, right? And it will be by dreams, all right? It will be by visions. This is how the Lord will deal with his men, okay? But he says, "My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful on my house." So with Moses, he said, "Nah, with Moses, it's a little different." He says, "With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. In the similitude of Yahweh shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?" So he said he want to go speak to him by dark speeches, right? He said, "I'm going to speak to him mouth to mouth." I mean, this is going to be a very intimate conversation. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. It's not going to be a symbolic vision, right? And that you're going to have to piece together through the Spirit. No, I'm going to tell you directly. This is exactly what it is. And that's how he dealt with Moses. All right? This is Exodus, what it is. (33 and 11). It says, "And Yahweh spake unto Moses face to face, as a man speaketh unto his friend." All right, and so this is how the Lord constantly dealt with Moses. He opened up unto him and showed him a lot of things, showed him a lot of secrets. All right, from the beginning, all from the secrets of the times, he showed him the end. All right, so even though Moses was not there to witness it, the person that created everything, right, gave him the account. Okay? Gave the account unto him. Like I said, the person made the point when you pass down the story, right, then, the story, has the ability, to get changed. And that is facts. All right? But what happened? Moses wrote it down. There is no changing it. Because a person could say something, get to the next person, and now it's kind of like, words are being changed, and, this part's probably being left out, this, and that. But Moses got the exact, account and wrote down. The Lord told him what to write down. Ain't no confusion then. All right, these are the records. All right, and it all boils down to faith anyways. Nobody gonna make you believe. Okay, you gotta have faith, right? In the first place. All right, it all takes faith to believe in the things, that you did not see, believe in the things that you did not witness. That's what faith is. But we know that a lot of our people are faithless. All right, Deuteronomy 34 and 10, it says, "There arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom Yahweh knew face to face." So this is a man that the Most High, deemed precious unto him, for him to deal with him this way, right? And this is who documented the creation story. And the same thing goes for all of, the scriptures or the prophecies, right? The Lord dealt, with these men. All right. Psalm 68 and 11. "The Lord gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it." The Lord always gave the word through the Spirit and would have men to write it down. All right. It had to be written down, because how else, was we going to get it in these times? Isaiah 30 and 8. "Now go, write it, before them in a table and noted in a book, that it may be for the times to come forever and ever. You see, so that we can have it in these times and in the generations of the day. All right, that's what it was written down for. All right, times way before us, so that we can read, and understand, what went on. Right, read these different accounts to build our faith. All right, to read these different prophecies. All right, of things, to come. All right, because the scripture goes into things of the past, things of the present, and things of the future. Okay. And the Lord had men to write these things down. All right. Now, 2 Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. So these words are faithful and true. All right. Even Peter, was that 2 Peter 1? I believe is 2 Peter, right? About that, no prophecy is of any private, interpretation. So none of us just came up with this. None of us just came up with the prophecies and just wrote things down, or is it going to happen this way, or this is how it happened? No, right? The prophets already wrote these things down, and the Lord inspired them, right? And inspire means to breathe. And he gave them the understanding. Well, he gave them what to write. He gave the prophets, coming back in these times, right, the understanding. All right, which if you can receive it with the same men that wrote it back then. All right. So yes, nobody was there, to witness it, the creation story, but the ones who created it. Because when you go to Genesis, the first chapter, right, that's Yahushua. Right, the Messiah, creating the earth with the angels or the elect. All right, they witnessed it. All right, but as far as like a written down, record, no, that was given to Moses. All right, and we have faith and we know, right, that these things are true. It's like I said, we have a more sure word of prophecy. Well, we have a more sure word in everything. All right. So, yeah, that was the lesson. Just edifying. With that, I'm going to say shalom.